Hi, I'm Darren Walker. Tonight on Inside Louisiana Athletics, Director of Athletics, Dr. Brian Maggard, breaks down the Ragin Cajuns' new strategic plan. Later, Ike Taylor talks entering the Hall of Fame. Dan McDonald and Eric Mouton recap the men's basketball season opener, and Heather Mercedes-Fontenot is here to discuss UT Arlington and Texas State. But first, Billy Napier recaps a dominating homecoming win and tomorrow night's game with Coastal Carolina. Brought to you by Sonic. You're watching Inside Louisiana Athletics. Hello and welcome to Inside Louisiana Athletics. The Ragin Cajuns football team gets a huge homecoming win over Texas State. The final score 31-3, and they did it with a familiar recipe, a very strong running game and a very stingy defense. And here to talk about the game on Saturday is the head coach of the Ragin Cajuns, Billy Napier. You know, it seems like we sit here every week and say, you know, we played well, but there are still some things that need to get corrected, some things that need to get cleaned up, but you had to be happy with the effort. Yeah, I mean, I'm certainly very happy with the week leading up to the game. You know, I thought our guys really practiced well. It's a terrific week. You know, I think we very thankful and grateful for the administration, certainly the athletic department, all the work that went into promoting the week. It was a special week. It's always good to get a win, a Western Division win. You know, I think each individual game, each individual matchup, there's going to be some good and some bad. Certainly there was Saturday, but played good team ball, and 31-3, we'll take it. We're going to move forward with that. Yeah. You had kind of the perfect recipe for a slow start offensively. You're missing Trey Regis. You're missing Robert Hunt from the offensive line. You haven't played a game in 16 days. So it just took a little while to get things going offensively. Yeah, and they're a good defensive team. You know, last year they were, I think, second in our league scoring defense, total defense. All the players were back. You know, I thought they'd do a good job taking on blocks. Certainly difficult to prepare for in the back end. They don't give up the big play. They make you earn it. We had some unfortunate penalties in 3 possessions there that slowed us down. So, you know, we tip our hat to them, and certainly I think 10 in the first half there. Thought we did a good job creating some momentum right before the half with the 2-minute drive and the field goal. Yeah, let's talk about how you got those 10. Again, it was scoreless midway through the second quarter, but the Ragin Cajuns get things going. Levi Lewis finds Jalen Williams for 19 yards to get into Bobcat territory, and then 2 plays later, Elijah Mitchell rips off a 39-yard touchdown run to put you up 7-0. Yeah, really well executed pass, Levi to Jalen. Really good route there, nice clean pocket. They dropped 8 into coverage. And then later on in that possession, certainly a well-blocked play there. To have those guys pulling clean kickouts, really played fast, decisive run by Eli, and a nice job on the perimeter. Jalen Williams shows up as the backside receiver and gets the safety cut off, and a big play, big finish by Eli. Texas State does answer with a field goal to make it 7-3, and here we go again. 1:44 on the clock. You have all 3 timeouts. And for the 7th consecutive game, you put points on the board to end the half or with just seconds left in the half. And Stevie Artigue is the guy who gets it done. He connects from 46 yards out. And that's a long field goal to begin with, but he's kicking right into the wind. And so you get that momentum going into halftime once again. And as we just watched a little while ago on the TV behind us, the team really exploded onto the field to congratulate him. Yeah, great situational football, something we work on quite a bit, trying to steal some points right before halftime. We had our timeouts, able to mix it up a little bit, work the sideline in the passing game. And then, great huge play in the game by Stevie. Certainly, I thought Bam and Paul did a great job on the operation. The protection was really good. But you could sense from the team how much they want Stevie to have success. He's worked really hard, and certainly the hard work paid off. Right. Second half, Ragin Cajuns with the ball, and you waste little time adding to the lead. You come out with 3 straight explosive runs and finish it up with Levi doing a little improvisation, sort of, and he finds Nick Ralston for the touchdown. The Arizona State transfer has been absolutely huge this year. Yeah, I don't know where we'd be without him, Great job answering the challenge. I felt like we were a little lackadaisical on offense, needed to play with a little bit more strain, effort. Came out, did that, and well-blocked runs down the field, and then great RPO kind of improvisation like you described there.
Nick was on a kind of an arrow route out there as a pitch guy and then turned up. Great awareness by Levi. We didn't have linemen downfield, and it ends up being a touchdown.
Mm-hmm. Bobcats make their way into Ragin Cajuns territory on the next drive, but on 3rd and 10, Mike Jacquet steps in front of the Tyler Vitt pass to pick it off. The former wide receiver showing that he's still got those ball skills.
Yeah, huge stops in the game in that fringe red zone area. Even late in the game, we got to stop down there. So forcing field goals, creating takeaways on our end of the field has been huge for our defense this year.
The offense picks up right where it left off, 12 plays, 83-yard drives, and now Chris Smith is getting some reps in the backfield. In the absence of Trey Regis, he finishes off the drive, a 24-yard run, and he goes in untouched.
Yeah, we had lots of players that really stepped up when these players were out. Certainly Chris was one of those. I thought he played well. He had a good week of practice. Rico Robinson played a lot more snaps over there at left tackle. And then a lot of these young defensive linemen with Dalvin Hutchinson going down, they got an opportunity. So huge game for us in terms of some of those second-tier players having a major role. It's always good to see Chris get an opportunity, and you can see that he's going to be fun to watch in the future.
The defense gives the ball right back to the offense. Jalen Williams with his second big catch of the day, and that sets up the bootleg from Levi. He just dumped it off to Raymond Calais, and he takes it the rest of the way, 34 yards, and now you're up 31-3.
Yeah, big third down throwing catch by Levi and Jalen there. Won a man matchup there, made a play on the ball, and then, really good execution, good sell by the offensive line, great catch by Raymond. When he turns that corner, man, he's tough to stop. Not
much happening in the fourth quarter. The final score was 31-3. Let's talk about the defense for a little bit. Another banner day for those guys. Texas State only 3 of 12 on third down. They made 3 trips to the red zone, but only 1 field goal to show for it. 246 yards of total offense, 2.5 yards a carry. And I'm going to mention these guys by name. Ron Roberts, Roy Seagrass, Patrick Toney, Matt Pollage, and Lamar Morgan continue to do a phenomenal job.
Absolutely. I think seeing our defense and how they continue to evolve in second year goes all the way back to the beginning of the offseason, the work that they've done, quality control in last year, taking a good look at what we needed to change. I think we've improved fundamentally. Certainly the relationship, the continuity that we have in that room. And then I think the communication, the fundamentals, those are the things that really stand out to me. And a lot of that young talent is starting to emerge. I think we'll be good on defense here for a long time.
Next up, you turn the page, Coastal Carolina, just 5 days between the game for both teams, and you're on the road. It's a challenging team to get ready for. So I know that you think this is one of the bigger challenges of the season.
Yeah, no doubt. I think, we've had some unique situations, 8-day turnaround, 10-day turnaround, 16-day turnaround. But this one's short, and it's against a really good opponent who's got some momentum. A big overtime win against Troy last week. So, we've got our work cut out for us. We're off and running here, grinding it out. Players have done a good job. So this will be one of the biggest challenges of the year, and we look forward to the opportunity.
All right, thanks, Coach, for the time, as always. And we will have highlights and reaction of that Coastal Carolina game next week on Inside Louisiana Athletics. But coming up next on Inside Louisiana Athletics, Dr. Brian Maggard joins the show to talk about the strategic plan.
This patty melt is loaded. Beef patty, grilled onions, melty cheese on Texas toast.
I propose a toast.
Oh, awesome.
Peter, you're dull.
Okay, this feels more like a roast.
I propose a roast.
Grab a patty melt while they last and order ahead for happy hour anytime.
bacon mac and cheese bites are the perfect comfort snack.
I needed some comfort, man. It's been a tough day.
What'd you do?
Well, I only got 10 hours of sleep.
Oh.
Get them while they're hot. Bacon mac and cheese or chili cheese bites are $2.99.
Welcome to a special edition of the Maggard Minutes. I'm Darren Walker, joined by the Director of Athletics, Dr. Brian Maggard, and we're here to talk to you about the new 3-year strategic plan for Louisiana Athletics. And first of all, I want to talk about the name. It's called Let's Go. G-E-A-U-X is the spelling, and it's a catchy title, but that is not, there's a lot more to it than that.
That's right, Darren. Let's Go really, I think, exemplifies all of us coming together, whether it's our internal staff or our external constituent bases, and all coming together and going in the direction that we want to head to.
Let's talk a little bit about the time and the thought and the people who made this happen, because this is not something that you just put together in a short period of time. There's a lot of contributors.
That's right. This was a 7-month-long process that was co-chaired by Dr. Jessica Leger and Dwayne Bailey, both deputy athletics directors within our organizations. And I really commissioned those two to put together a strategic planning committee that consisted of student athletes, coaches, staff, faculty, and external members of our community to come together, collaborate, and put together the best possible plan for our department. So yes, it was a project that took quite a bit of time, a lot of effort from a lot of people, which I'm very appreciative of, but we really feel like this is a comprehensive plan that will help us achieve what we want to over the next 3 years.
Talk a little bit about the core values: integrity, service, authenticity, inclusion, and excellence.
Well, those 5 core values are going to be the foundation from which we operate on moving forward. And certainly, every time we make a decision, big or small, we want to incorporate those values somehow, some way. So we'll be very attentive to those values, but again, let those drive us moving forward. Those, along with our vision statement, our mission statement, those 3 components will certainly help us make decisions as we move forward, but ultimately help us achieve this vision that we've established.
Yeah, 3 overall strategic priorities. The first being student athlete experience, and I guess in a nutshell, that's having everything that the student athletes need, not just on the field, but also in the classroom.
That's right. Our most important asset is our student athletes. Without them, we wouldn't exist. We know that, and so we want to make sure that we are prioritizing their experience here at the University of Louisiana, not just as students, not just as athletes, but as young men and young women as well. So moving forward, we want to make sure that in addition to providing them great support academically, helping them develop into the best athlete that they can be, that we also want to develop them as young men and young women and also help them post-college find their career goals and dreams.
The second priority is fiscal and facility management. And I guess in a nutshell there is just having the funds and the facilities to get them to play at their highest level.
That's right. Everything we do here takes money and takes resources. And we want to make sure that whether it's brick and mortar or the financial resources or the human resources, that we are providing the best experience for everybody involved within our department. And we know that that will permeate to the external constituents as well. So if we are operating at a high level internally, we have the resources in place, we can certainly put on the products on the courts and the fields and all that good stuff to make sure that our fan bases are excited, stay motivated, but at the same time make sure that, again, going back to that student-athlete experience, that we're developing those young men and young women into professionals in some field.
The third and final strategic priority is culture. We've heard that word so much around here in the last year or two, and I guess that has to do with not just having the culture inside of our walls, but also having relationships with the university and also out in the community.
That's right. Culture is important to any organization, to any department. We know that. But as you see with our first objective, in that, or our first goal within that strategic priority, we are focusing on the internal culture. We want to make sure that we have our house in order, that we're operating at a level where we have trust, transparency, good communication, because we know, again, that will then foster out to the external areas that you mentioned. And again, culture is just critically important. So whether we are focusing internally or we are making sure that we are providing our fan base with the best possible experience, broadening our base, doing everything we can to exposing the University of Louisiana Athletics at the highest level, to go back to that vision of becoming a prominent national D1 program.
You mentioned 2 words, goals and objectives. So inside of each of the strategic priorities, there are 3 goals and then 3 objectives inside of that. So you do the math, there are 27 objectives in the strategic plan. And I think one of the things that's most interesting about this is that these are measurable goals. You'll be able to track these goals as the 3-year plan is going, and then again at the end to see what worked and what didn't.
That's exactly right. Whenever you establish goals and objectives, you want two things. You want them to be measurable and you want them to be attainable.
Mm-hmm.
Now, some of our goals are going to be a little bit aspirational. We know that, but at the same time, we want to make sure that we set that bar as high as we can. So yes, to your point, at the end of each year, we will provide a progress update, and we'll share that publicly. So our constituents and our fan base know how we are progressing toward accomplishing these 27 objectives.
Last question, just I guess in general, what has you most excited about this?
Well, for me, strategic plans represent a roadmap. They're going to help us as a department get to where we want to go over the next 3 years. Right. And then, as we get into that third year, we'll start working on an extension, of the strategic plan. So what excites me the most is it provides a roadmap and it provides a sense of direction to our student athletes, our coaches, and our staff. So we can all come together, pull in the same direction, and know where we want to get to, but most importantly, how we're going to get there.
Our CAF members are already getting these in the mailer. It is the strategic plan in detail. You can also go to RaginCajuns.com to get all of the details or check all of our social media platforms.
To perform, you need speed, skill, strength. With every muscle, every move, you push your body to reach its full potential. But sometimes you just can't push through the pain. That's when you know it's time to address it. So when injury puts you on the sidelines, trust us to get you back in the game. Lord Sports Care, the team behind your team.
If you're happy and you know it's Zydeco. If you're happy and you know it's Zydeco. If you're happy and you know it, then your feet will surely show it. If you're happy and you know it's Zydeco. If you're happy and you know it, mange. If you're happy and you know it, mange. If you're happy and you know it, I think I will help you show it. If you're happy and you know it, mange.
Great teachers change lives.
It only takes one.
Thank you, Coach Hill.
Thank you, Mr. Gentry.
Mrs. Hunter, you are the one who taught me perseverance, to always fight the good fight.
Thank you, Ms. Frost. You're the one who believed in me.
Thank you, Ms. Matthews. You're the one that pushed me to be better.
Dr. Lee Hersey has been a great, wonderful role model, mentor.
Thank you, teachers.
Thank you, teachers. Thank you. This one's for you.
Great teachers change lives.
It only takes one.
It only takes one.
Welcome back to Inside Louisiana Athletics. Time now to hear from NFL veteran and 2019 Hall of Famer Ivan Ike Taylor.
Ike Taylor, University of Louisiana. Feels good to be back home. Ragin Cajun country. I haven't really been here in 20 years, so just to see the new development, the indoor facility, the weight room, the cafeteria, the baseball field, it went from grass in the swamp to being turf. So just to come back and see things moving forward, I would want to say it's good to be back home. I was riding in my car when I got the call. So actually I got a few texts, and of course 337 area code, a few 504 area codes, but the number wasn't saved. The text wasn't saved. Then Nico finally shot me a text. He was like, I think you should call me because I have some good news. This is Nico from Lafayette University. So I called him back. He was like, bro, you got a second? I said, yeah, Nico, I got a second. He said, man, the school want to induct you into the Hall of Fame. And I just caught a chill. I said, man, you lying. He said, no, in all seriousness, the school wants to induct you into the Hall of Fame. I said, man, this came at a good time because I got a lot of stuff going on in my life, and I always appreciate good news. So I said, let me take time just to think about what you just said. Let me gather my thoughts. So he gave me a couple of minutes. I actually put the phone down while I was driving and just I said, dang, God is good. I would like to thank God, my mom, my sisters, my family, my friends, my cousins, Uncle Herm, even my ex. You know, we got married, got divorced real early, but I say, man, you're a heck of a woman. You're an even better mom. I said, you showed, not told me a lot on how to be a man, let alone a father. So I want to give a shout out to her. Her name is Danielle. I want to give a shout out to her too. But my mom and my three sisters, for the most part, has been my motivation on just thriving, having pride, working hard, and taking everything serious.
Next on Inside Louisiana Athletics, Dan McDonald and Eric Mouton recap Tuesday's men's basketball season opener versus Loyola.
Bacon mac and cheese bites are the perfect comfort snack.
I needed some comfort, man. It's been a tough day.
What'd you do?
Well, I only got 10 hours of sleep.
Oh.
Get them while they're hot. Bacon mac and cheese or chili cheese bites are $2.99.
Welcome back to Inside Louisiana Athletics. From the Cajun Dome, I'm Dan McDonald, along with Eric Mouton. And Louisiana's Ragin Cajun basketball team opens its 2019-20 season in a big way and in fine form, 95-67 over Loyola of New Orleans. And Eric, this was a game that the Cajuns produced really on both ends of the floor.
They did. I think it was a sluggish start for Louisiana, but I think they really got it going on the defensive end, which led to a lot of transition baskets. And it's going to take a while for Coach Marlin and the staff to find the right rotation. But a lot of these young players in their debut played well.
A lot of the new players, 43 points turned in by the 5 freshmen who saw action. Trajan Wesley there with the quick drive. That's one of the returnees, but an impressive opening performance by Jalen Johnson, 22 points.
He was definitely impressive, and I was also impressed with the freshman Malik Wilson, who was a stat stuffer, 11 points, 4 rebounds, 4 assists, 4 steals. These guys can play, and they're going to play better as they play together more.
Wilson's going to get the layup here off the steal. Kobe Julian, 15 points, 6 rebounds. He and Jalen Johnson, the Baton Rouge crew that set out last year, the two of them combined for 37 points. They shoot 13 of 25 from the field between the two of them, and also got 15 rebounds.
Yeah, they did, and they were able to get to the basket, be aggressive with it, and you can see some nice passes for 3-pointers by the defense, by the offense, as Cedric Wilson did a nice job of distributing the basketball.
Christian Lafayette with the putback, as Louisiana scored a lot off their set offense, but also did a good job in transition. They forced 24 turnovers from Loyola.
Loyola came out and tried to press early, but didn't have an effect on Louisiana. They sat back in man-to-man and zone, and Louisiana was fined what they wanted on the offensive end.
Nice job on both ends by the Cajuns as they win their opener, 95-67 over Loyola of New Orleans here at the Cajun Dome.
We are a young conference, full of energy, passion, and pride. And we won't rest until we've made our mark. Our accomplishments have earned us a place among the top of the college football world. But we're just getting started. We've still got a lot of growing to do. And the future is for the young. Sunbelt is proud to be a part of 150 years of college football.
Welcome back to Inside Louisiana Athletics. The Ragin Cajuns volleyball team went 1-1 on the weekend when they hosted UT Arlington and Texas State. And here to talk about that is the head coach, Heather Mercedes-Fontenot. So if I told you before the weekend started that you were going to go 1-1, I'm sure you thought, okay, we'll beat Arlington and maybe not beat Texas State, but that is not what happened. You flipped the script.
We did. And I asked the girls Sunday after we beat Texas State, which win would you rather have? And of course they all said this one.
Right.
Arlington was a tough battle, and they battled, we battled, and came out on the wrong side of a 15-11 fifth set. And so then to have to come back at it on Sunday, and the girls they played well, that we just hung around. And I think that's really what happened, is we just kept hanging around. We win the second set and we bust through in the fourth set, and the fifth set was just all us.
Yeah. You go to you play UTA on Friday, and it was a 5-set battle, like you said. You split the first two, and then in the third you took a 2-1 lead with a 29-27 win, and that's a big deal going down the road. You didn't win the match, but explain why that's so important.
Well, because we've been really struggling this season with the tight sets. We've lost a ton of them, 26-24, 27-25, and so now we're winning the tight ones. And my husband was watching, and he said he could hear the roar of the crowd, because when we won that third set, man, it was amazing at Earl K, the support we had.
Yeah. Let's go to Sunday's game. Of course, Texas State was the first place team in the conference, and this had pretty much everything: excitement, intensity, drama. Another 5-set match. You come out on top 3-2. Just talk about the emotions and everything that happened during that match.
Well, if you start with the first set we created a lot of errors for ourselves that were not characteristic of us. And so I was feeling pretty agitated after the first set. And then we come out in the second set, and they start creating the errors that we were doing. So then, in volleyball, you get this thing, well, maybe that's the bad side, And so then we go back to the bad side and lose the third set.
Right.
So then we get to the good side in the fourth set. But really, what the one thing we've been focusing on for the last 6 weeks is serving. Serve and pass. And I said this earlier in the press conference that I had the whole game plan on our big chalkboard or big whiteboard in the locker room. And right before the game, I raced it all. And I was like, we must win the first ball side out game, which is serve and pass. And we must serve well. We must pass well. And we did. We had 8 aces to their 2. And that was the biggest stat that was different in the game.
2 words come to mind when I was watching on the stream yesterday, was resiliency, because I thought your team showed a lot of resilience with the coming back and forth like you just talked about, but also defense. I mean, down the stretch, every time Texas State looked like they were about to load up and slam one, you guys were there to make that block.
Yeah, and it's funny that you use the word resilience, because we pick a word every weekend, and the word for this weekend was resilience.
And I did not know that.
And so, but and how we defined it was competitiveness and urgency and consistency, and so that's what we went into this weekend thinking that we knew we had to do, because we knew every set was going to be tight. We knew that if they got a great kill, we were going to have to come back with something, and that's exactly what we did.
So is the 24-hour rule in effect this week, or does it get extended a little bit because it's such a big win? You have Monroe coming up twice this week.
Well, Monroe, and again, it's such a good rivalry, and they are always ready to play us, and so we just have to keep. One of the things is I told my assistant is we just have to keep everything the same. This is a great opponent. We've got to go after it just in that way. The girls are off today because we played on Sunday, and today's was Natsuki's. Well, anyway, Monday was Haley's birthday.
Gotcha.
And so it's going to be fun for her to be able to celebrate that a little bit longer. But no, man, this weekend is going to be tough again. We are in the driver's seat for the number 2 spot on the West, so that's where we're headed.
Yeah, the stretch run is here for volleyball. Coach, as always, thanks for the time. We'll see you again next week. That'll do it for Inside Louisiana Athletics.